It's Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by the writer and director of Couture, Alice Winocour. Alice, how are you?
Good, and you?
Very, very good, thank you. Couture feels like a world most of us only ever see from the outside. So, what was that moment where you thought, I need to tell this story from the inside?
Yes, I think I always write personal and intimate stories that I project in worlds I don't know. And this story was very personal to me as I've experienced the same thing as a character, Maxine Walker, played by Angelina Jolie, the story with the cancer. And I really wanted to set it in a world I didn't know, which was this world of fashion, this world of Fashion Week. Yes, that was the idea of the film to write a kind of rundown of different women in the city during the Fashion Week, who are like in a moment of transformation in their lives.
So, if you didn't know a lot about the inside of Fashion Week, did you have to do a lot of research? Because being from Paris, I would imagine you see a lot from the outside. So, did you have
Yeah.
to do a lot of research from the inside?
I did actually, as I was really inspired by a lot of women I've met. I've asked Chanel, to the Maison de Couture, if they wanted to be part of the adventure of that movie, and that give me all access of backstage shows. So the script was really inspired by women I had met backstage of those shows. And we were also able to shoot for the first time in their atelier haute couture with real seamstresses and real makeup artists. And so it was really a behind the scene way to look at that world.
I always think of the world of fashion. I don't know if you know this analogy of a swan being above the water, very beautiful, very graceful, but underneath the water, its little feet are paddling away as quick as it possibly can. And I always think of fashion of being like that. Obviously, from the outside, what we get to see is very beautiful and very elegant. And I think you show behind the scenes where it's not always as beautiful and elegant.
Yeah, but the topic of the movie is not really fashion. I would say it's more the lives of three women that are going through that world. But as it was more like a kind of metaphor of the contemporary world, like a world where you have to hide your wants and to pretend everything is perfect, but behind the perfect images, what what the women were doing, what were the stories of their bodies, and yes, I think what is the real theme of the film is women's body. I think we don't know much about it, even if. Yes, we see all those images of models in advertisement, in our cities, in airports, which were what was the stories behind, yes, those images, like what was their souls, what was it was, yes, the how to understand how those images were made. And of course the main story is the story of Angelina Jolie, who is a director who comes to Paris to direct a film for this brand, which is fictional because even if we worked with Chanel, it's a fictional maison couture in the movie. And yes, she is learning that she has a cancer in the midst of this glitter and in this beautiful world. So it's, yes, as life, like everything is melted.
And you mentioned earlier that the film is autobiographical, and I think we all have experienced that where we work so hard on a project and we have plans for our life and things are going really, really well for us. And then life has other ideas and it throws objects in the way. That's obviously something you felt very personal about writing about.
Yeah, because the film talks about the fragility of life or someone who realizes how life is fragile. But at the same time, the idea of the movie was to celebrate life and to have this, yes, all those women supporting each other. And it's really what happened also during the shooting. We have this Jolie coming from the US. We have this South Sudanese model coming from the war. We have a makeup artist coming from Switzerland, another model coming from Ukraine. She actually really came from Kiev. I was inspired by real stories. All the stories that are told in the film are real stories of real women I've met. It's really parts of their lives. And it was really moving to have those women coming from such different worlds and sharing their stitches and trying to repair themselves. I think I really tried to repair myself first during doing that film, and I hope it will repair others. As I, what we wanted to say also with Angelina was that if you've been through that, if you've experienced same things, you're not alone. Like we've been through this, and yes, it was a kind of way to try to bring hope. And the representation is very important on screen. And I think it's those lives and the lives of those women I thought was not represented. I mean, I couldn't see films that would depict those kind of those women.
The casting feels very, very specific. I mean, from Angelina, who is obviously a superstar, down to Anya. Am I right in saying this is Anya's
Yeah,
first?
Anya, Anna,
Yeah,
Anya.
that's
Yeah.
her first acting role. Is that correct?
Yeah, I thought it was very beautiful to have such a big, big star sharing her part with others. It was a kind of political thing, I think, today to say like all of those women, we are well united in this, like we are, and to have someone, a newcomer, like who have never played, and a very big star, and so many others. The film is really a run dance between all of those women supporting each other.
Of course, I have to ask you about Angelina Jolie. She's amazing. She steals every single scene that she's in. Is it her character's storyline that drew her to the part?
Actually, as you understood, it's the film. It describes really what I've been through and my journey with yes with the cancer, but not only like and it was also very similar to her story, even if she didn't have a cancer, but she underwent a double mastectomy to escape the family fate as her mother and grandmother died from breast cancer. And but what was very important for us was to show not a story of cancer, but a story of a woman. And even if she's going through difficult times, she stays a woman. And it's also a story of a young Sudanese becoming a model, but it's not the story of fashion. It's a story of this young Sudanese woman. So it's all stories of women. And I think yes, it's really what we wanted to show. Like even if you go through difficult times, you stay a woman. We see this love story she's having with Louis Garrel, the French actor. And it was important also to have a sex scene to show, Angelina, she really dedicated herself to the movie. She's showing really her vulnerability. And it was really to show behind the big icon who is Angelina Jolie, who is the real Angelina, who is a woman. And she really, yeah, she was really, she wanted to show her stitches, but also, yes, her soul, how she's really in real life.
Obviously, filming with couture, both fashion and cinema. We know that you are a huge fan and a lover of Paris. Was it important to show the beauty of Paris?
Of course, it's because in life everything is melted. In the worst, worst, worst situation, that happen the most beautiful things. And I think the reverse is also true. And so, yes, it's also, of course, a film about Paris and this big parties of Fashion Week and what is happening behind the scene of those parties.
And I know that your other films and your other work, you quite often explore people under pressure. What is it about those moments that interest you as a storyteller?
You really write your stories with your unconscious, and as I told you, all my stories are very personal, and I don't know if I'm someone under pressure, but but probably it's also I think it's also a way yes, I like to describe the lives of women that I think are not told or not told enough. I was also happy this time to have this South Sudanese model to put on the cinema map with this kind of character talking Dinka, Swahili, languages that are not represented in cinema. And yes, I like to tell stories from a point of view I think is has not been told, or to tell a story we've heard but differently. And I think there's a lot of film about fashion, but they're always told from the perspective of the power of an artistic director, and mostly men, because artistic directors are still mostly men. So I was asking myself, where are the women, and what about their bodies? And that's couture.
Obviously, with the different storylines that are going on, there feels like there may be a 3 or 4 hour version of this film somewhere. Does that exist? And did you have to cut it down?
Other version?
Yeah, is there a director's cut which is 3 or 4 hours long?
Yeah, for sure. In that movie, all the characters, they are all parts of me. I would say it's my most personal film. It's a kind of self-portrait. All the characters are the same character and me at different stages or ages of my life. And of course, you could make a story of all the stories, and I had to cut a lot of this expression when you're writing, you always say, kill your darlings. You have to, you have to cut like some parts you really love. And the work of editing was very subtle as we had really to sew all those parts of life of women, to sew all of the stories. It was like making a dress, like a haute couture dress. You make a different parts and then you sew all of them together. So yes, I can make like, I don't know, maybe there will be another version of the film.
Maybe turn it into a TV series or something like
TV
that to go on.
series.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Um,
but it was like what was interesting to me were those very little moments of solidarity between women. It seems like very fragile moment, but I think it's what is interesting in life.
so finally, to finish off, after somebody has finished watching Couture, what's the one thing that you want them to feel?
A kind of, as I said, celebration of life, because I think when you are between life and death, there's one thing that matters is life for sure and what you want to do with your life. And also, yes, this kind of solidarity. And I don't think it's naive. I think it's really when you go through difficult times, when when you this moment you see Angelina Jolie talking with this makeup artist she doesn't know at all, and she's telling her like the most intimate secret she have, that she's sick, and they share this very strong moment. Sometimes you can be closer from a total stranger and tell like so, and it can be very strong moments of your life. So yes, I would say it exalts the solidarity and human moments between women. And I think I wanted to tell other women, if you've been through situations like this, you're not alone. We've been through that. And you have to, yeah, it was to bring hope.
I very, very much agree. Alice, thank you so much for talking to me. I really do
Oh, thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for your
Couture is
time.
available on digital HD from the 20th of April. I wish you nothing but luck with it.
Thank you. Thank you